نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and welcome to another Monday night program of Business Matters. Business Matters brought to you by the Minara Chamber of Commerce and presented by myself Anwar Mullah every Monday night on Radio Al Ansar at this roundabout this time 7:25 on a Monday evening. Tonight, I'm joined on the line by a lady, and her name is Fatima Sookharia. And Fatima is a director of an organization called Salam Foundation. And I've been told to note that the Salam Foundation is separate from Salam Media. So I'll let her explain a little bit more. And we're going to talk about a project of the Salam Foundation, which is called Farm in the City. So without much further ado, Assalamu alaikum, Fatima, and welcome to Radio Al Ansar.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, Brother Anwar?
I'm well, thanks. And you coming out very, very loud and clear. So we have no problem listening to you this evening. And I hope we're going to have a very interesting conversation with you for the next 35 minutes or so on Radio Al Ansar. Fatima, before we get started on Salam Foundation and Farm in the City, tell me a little bit about yourself, your upbringing, and where are you joining us from right now?
Okay, I am actually from Johannesburg, South Africa, but look, I live in the east end of Johannesburg, so in the small little town of Benoni.
Okay.
Not so small, but small town of Benoni, and that's in the east end. That's where I grew up, and I've lived all my life. After matric, I studied communications and journalism, and I've done an English major, and then I became a teacher after doing some research, with family commitments and marriage and stuff like that. It's not just easy to. I was actually in teaching for a little bit after doing a teaching qualification, but my passion lied in journalism and reporting on stories of humanitarian issues. So initially, I did join Salam Media. And I worked there for a few years, where we started with Azharwadi. We started Salam Foundation, but Salam Foundation, since COVID, has now separated from Salam Media, and the foundation now runs completely independently of the media.
Okay, I believe Azharwadi's gone to Turkey.
Yeah, so he's actually supposed to be the one doing the interview today on, what we do and stuff like that. But because of the earthquake that hit Turkey yesterday and early parts of this morning, he said no, he needs to be part of that humanitarian intervention that Salam Foundation will be involved in.
Yeah, absolutely, some very, very horrific videos and pictures coming out of Turkey. We make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for them. And it's great to see South African organizations and brothers like Azharwadi taking the lead in terms of being out there, going there and helping on the ground to see what can be done for those. I mean, really, our heart breaks when we see what is really happening out there. But inshallah, Allah make it easy for them. Salam Foundation, you want to touch briefly on some of your projects and what you guys are all about?
So we're a humanitarian organization primarily, right? But in the last few years, we've had a keen interest in agriculture. And as an organization, this is the route that we felt we're going to take on to take our organization forward. So there are lots of projects that we do, and we do humanitarian interventions in different parts of the world. So Syria is one of them, and it's close to our heart. That's why Azhar actually just today, when he heard about it, he, jumped on a plane and he said, no, this is what I need to do, because it's the areas, that we work on a continuous basis that actually was hit by this earthquake. And it's those refugees that have been through so much already that are now, part of this earthquake as well. But so Syria is one of the projects. We do Yemen. We do different international projects, right? Madagascar is another one. one. But then our focus in South Africa is also very great in that there are so many people that really, really suffer in our own country. And so when we're speaking about this particular project, Farm in the City, it's because of the hunger levels that exist in our country. And we want to address that. And we want to address it in a sustainable way. That's where the whole concept of agriculture and growing our own food and allowing for sustainability of people as a society to grow. And that's why we have this keen interest in agriculture. So South Africa is where this is primarily based, but because we've gotten a keen following, from different parts of the world also, they have actually caught on to the idea of agriculture used in a sustainable way. So even though mainly we do projects of agriculture in South Africa, people from overseas, example Syria and Yemen, have even asked us to try these projects abroad so that they can also see the benefits of it.
Okay, interesting. When I heard of farm in the city, I said I don't know of many farms in the cities, because cities are generally built up areas. So
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit more about the name Farm in the City, its concept, and why Farm in the City.
Okay, so see, during the COVID period, right, Farm in the City is that project of Salam Foundation, but it was this unique venture that sprung out of the COVID-19 pandemic. So because so many people were affected, and like if you're saying, okay, we were affected in certain ways, when it came to impoverished communities, they were affected very, very badly. And we thought as an organization and as like young entrepreneurs, what can we do to alleviate this? And that's where the idea of this farm was born. But we initially only started with just trying to grow seeds. So from seed, we tried one tray of seedlings, and we said, like, if we actually put it down to like a business plan and a plan to say that if we can do this in a sustainable way and create a space that is an urban space, just like somewhere in our farm, at our office space. If we're doing this from our office and we can grow from our office, imagine how many people we can feed just around the Robertsham area that are in need. Because outside our office, even on a daily basis, there are people that just sit there that have no food to eat. So if we can maybe incorporate, say, people also to help us in growing vegetables and then putting it out to people that need, in our urban setting, then this can be something that we can look at long-term and sustainably. So when we initially started that little seedling that we said, or that I spoke about in that one tray, it was a single one, and it took very quickly, and it allows us to see, the importance of this and growing your own and how it can affect different communities. So we took that one seed, right? We grew it into a plant. We grew then trays of seedlings. We grew that into plant. We started doing ground growing. Eventually, we said, no, we need greenhouses. So then 5 greenhouses were put up. And this was all being done at our office. So the back of our office, we put up all these greenhouses. The 5 greenhouses now became too little space. So we said, okay, let's introduce hydroponic systems, because there we can go vertically. And we built our own hydroponic system at that time. And alhamdulillah, it's been a phenomenal success, because now we're growing vertically as well. So still using the small plot of land. And then we grew spinach inside the hydroponic systems. And each one of our greenhouses now had organic growth at the bottom and hydroponic growth on 3 levels in the hydroponic system. And because all of this was going on at our premises, at our Salam Foundation office, we decided on the name Farm in the City. And this name has, that urban living space. It's a urban living garden, and it shows that social entrepreneurship and just this project that came alive in our Johannesburg Salam Foundation office plot at number 92 Xavier Street in Robert Sham.
Wow. If I may ask, those first seedlings that you spoke about, where you started from, what crop did you grow, or what crop did you start with?
So we started with radish. It was one tray of radish seedlings.
Okay.
And I didn't know this at the time because both myself and Azhar, we don't really have a farming background as such, but we just had this, he actually had this passion for farming. And he said, maybe this is the route that we should take, And so when we grew that first one, we didn't know initially that radish is something that actually grows very quickly. But when we spoke to people afterwards, they told us that it's the easiest thing to grow. So we actually started with that. But the thing is that it created this joy in us, and it created this, I don't know, maybe you can say like this impetus in us that we need to do more and we can do this. And we have a very small team. So that team, all of us said, this is what we want to take forward. And so that radish grew into now trays of radish. And then the first harvest was taken out. We got like a whole box full. We gave it out to people. Then we started with spinach. And because spinach has high, nutrient content, we felt like, okay, we're going to give out something that's of high nutritional value. And with that, then, we started growing spinach on a regular basis. And the spinach took in the sand that we have at the office. And then we started throwing nutrients inside it. But when I say nutrients, we said we're only going to do organic compost. And so we started putting compost into our ground, and we saw growth that was phenomenal because the spinach leaves even that we got that we were getting out from there were like these huge giant leaves. And so this also gave us the courage to say, okay, we're going to take it to another level. And we asked people to donate towards this project, and with that, then with these donations, we managed to raise funds for 5 greenhouses, and all of which were flourishing with greens.
Okay, so you started with radish and then moved on to spinach.
Correct. Yes.
Anything else that you've grown in your greenhouses?
Yes. So in this last few years, we've tried a number of things, right? So we grow spinach, we grow kale, we grow California reapers, which are actually the strongest chilies in the world, and we have them growing there in our greenhouses. We have lettuce, we have blue Peter beans, we have beetroot. So there's a number of things that grow in spring onions. Like there's lots of things that grow, and we try different things as well. But it's also that because we're doing this as a social project, as a social entrepreneurial project, we want to also give back. So if it's something that grows and is going to be nutritious for somebody to eat, we try and grow more of that. So that's why spinach is our biggest line. And then after that, we grow also like pateria leaves, for example, because coming towards Ramadan, we know that people want that. And so we do also sell to the public. And because this project has created so much of interest in the communities, when people pass by and they see our signs, Farm in the City, they want to come and see what we do. And so when we when they come, they want to buy stuff, then we allow people to buy, whatever produce is available. We cut it only when they are there because we just feel like then it's freshest and they take what they want. And then we charge them for that, and that fee then goes back into our farm project, and so we can further whatever it is that we do on a daily basis.
I love the name Farm in the City. Very catchy. Now, the question is, you've your seeds, your source of supply of seeds. Have you partnered with somebody that constantly supplies you with seeds, or you're just buying them from the supermarkets or the nurseries?
No, so we haven't partnered with anybody as such. We do buy seeds from different nurseries, but we try to also keep it at organic seeds, and then from a lot of the produce that we grow. So once a plant bolts, right, when it's reached its maximum in growth,
Right.
then there are seeds that also we collect from our own garden, and then we replant, and that's how we get more plants. And because now our space is small, we don't really have the capacity to go bigger or to do this on a commercial scale as yet. But what we've seen through this small farming project is that this is something that can really work in a social way and to help communities out of poverty. So we've purchased a farm, the
Wow.
farm at the Val, a farm
Okay.
at the Val, right?
Right.
And this is an extension now of a farm in the city, because on that farm now we do a cattle farming, and with donations then we are able to give out a cattle like what's this sorry the cows beef packs to communities in need. And it has grown to such an extent that alhamdulillah we are able to now do around 10,000 meat meals per month, and this is now supplemented with veg that's grown from our farm in the city, and then we give out a pack where it's a veg and meat that go together, and it goes out to different communities around Gauteng who are really who really can't wait for the next delivery to come, because these are people that really nobody really looks at, or nobody really sees to, because they're really out and forgotten people. And so we try to find these people, and then we give out these packs to them.
Wow. So, how long ago have you all purchased this farm, and where exactly is the farm?
So the farm at the Val is a cattle farm that we've purchased on the Val Dam. It's around 2 hours from Johannesburg, and then the cattle. So we've got a herd of around 50 cattle now that
Are these
are there on the
breeding
farm.
cattle?
Yes, they no, so they're breeding cattle, but then and then we slaughter from there, and those are where the meat packs come from.
Okay, so you're slaughtering on the farm as well. So you got a little abattoir set up on the farm.
No, not so we don't slaughter on the farm. We bring the animals to an abattoir at the moment, and inshallah, look, we have a vision of getting everything of our own, but it's baby steps, because the farm is just now a year old. So on that farm also, because we have land available, and because now we've reached almost our capacity for ground growing on at the farm in the city, we want to do it also on a commercial level where it can bring in some income. We now have cleared out hectares, a few, like at least 3 hectares of land, and we're now planting at that, and we're waiting for those crops. Inshallah, this was done recently, so inshallah in the next 6 weeks or so we should have also crops that's grown at the big farm that's an extension of our farm in the city.
So where are you spending most of your time, at the offices or at the farm?
Yes. So the office is actually my station, and Azhar spends a lot of the time at the big farm, where he goes up and down and tries to and works with the staff there. So at the small farm at the moment, then I've got 3 staff members with me all the time, and we manage the garden that's at the office, and then Azhar is usually at the big farm, and then to oversee the Salam Foundation's work as well, because remember, we can't give all the attention to the farm in the city. There's a whole lot of other things that also go on.
Yes, I need to ask is that I'm sure there would be a staff complement at the big farm, as you call it, because somebody needs to feed those cattle and make sure they get the daily water and their rations of food. And there's other challenges like I'm sure animals fall sick and you need to bring in veterinary services and things. So who funds all of this? Because from what I understand, what you're doing, you're basically giving away for charity, which is fantastic. But there would be a cost element, and how is this funded?
So, see, social entrepreneurship basically started with an idea, right? But it is something that can grow as a business also. So if people want, like say, to do a charity, then they give us the donations and they say, okay, please distribute this on our behalf. So we're doing most of our distributions in that way. And then because we've spoken to so many different donors and they've caught on to the idea also of how this can help improve communities, then, they donate to us. But it's not only that, from this farm, we also do like setups for people on their own farms. So for example, if there's a community that's in need and we know that they have a patch of land, then we go to them and we say, okay, let's help you in this way so that you can sustain yourself. And so, yes, we were giving you a handout like initially, but now we're going to help you to start up your own. So it's not only that, donors are giving to a pack of meat, but they can be involved in empowerment projects where the communities themselves become self-sufficient. And they're doing this because we can either maybe give them a herd of goats that they grow themselves, or we give them the seeds and the capital to start up a farm of their own. And so in this way, when we put that to donors as well, they are very keen, to assist with an empowerment project so that they can, so that communities can sustain itself. So most of our work is donor based, but then we also get in the vegetables that we sell from our farm. And if people want to purchase also from, say, for example, a goat or something like that, then we can also sell it to them. And that's how, funds come in as well.
Okay, I love the concept of empowering people, of not constantly just relying on handouts, and
Yes.
and really getting the people to work the land, and to do things for themselves. And I think the joy and the benefit that would come from something like that is it's immense. I mean, it's immeasurable. I would call you a social entrepreneur and your organization, but surely there must have been many challenges and frustrations that you encountered in your journey of 2 or 3 years that you've been through. Can you share some of these challenges with us?
So see, like if we speak about the challenges, right? We're a very, very small group of people. And then because of that, our reach is just so much. Then we don't have like this big space to work in. And so that also can be a challenge. The other thing is, like, say, if you're dependent on donors all the time to support the work you do, that means your progress is hampered because of just basically the finances. But in saying all of these things, Alhamdulillah, I never ever look at, what it is that we don't have and how we can't do things. It's always been a progression for me. And it's always been that whatever it is that we say, you put your mind to, you're going to get it done. And you just need that intention to say that, okay, fine, I'm going to, even though I see these challenges around me, I'm going to make that effort and this will materialize. And so, like now you're saying, okay, now we're saying, okay, we have the farm in the city and it has grown, but the farm in the city is there to stay, because I want it to be that if somebody has that inclination towards doing something, they need to know that from that one radish, this is the surrounding that it can become. And, you can see the 5 greenhouses, you can see a hydroponic system, you can see an aquaponic system. And all of this is within this 800 meter space that we've managed to create this urban garden. So I feel like even though there are challenges that we face on a daily basis, we should never look at it as that. We should actually see, okay, where we can work and how we can work and just push through, through whatever it is that we can, and we can do only that much. Because I feel that, in looking at challenges, then we set back. And if we set back, then no progress happens. So I don't really like to talk about challenges that we face, but rather how we're going to overcome them.
Okay, excellent. I love the outlook. Fatima, the thing is, you also are surrounded, I'm sure, where you stay with the residential areas, lots of people, also Muslim people around you. What about taking this a little bit further and asking them to use the wasted space in their gardens to support your organization and maybe even support themselves?
So that is the concept that we're trying to drive, right? In many different communities, even not just like surroundings in Robertsham, there are different people. There are lots of people that actually come to our farm, and they support us by buying the fresh produce that comes from our gardens. But then, say you go like a little bit further, Mountain View, for example, that's a community that we support. They had land, and so that's how now we've started their gardens, and then they're growing. But why I'm speaking about them specifically is because, like you saying, they can grow and then they can help us because they've got land. So instead of saying, okay, grow it there and then give it to us, we saying to them, because this is also a really impoverished community, we saying to them, okay, grow it yourselves. Take this what you can, and then take the land that you have and make it work for you, and then after that we'll buy it back from you. So in that way they have an incentive also. Okay, Salam Foundation is now going to buy back our growth if it's of a good quality, and so that way they also like excited about doing the project with us. And we've started this in a few communities already, where they have patches of land, and then they're growing, and as soon as that that growth comes up, we're going to go back and then we're going to buy it from them.
Okay, just a suggestion that's come through here and says, Salams, maybe Fatima should package the vegetables and supply like supermarkets. In this way, you will have a steady income to sustain yourself as well as expand. I'm sure you looked at that as a concept.
Definitely. That is our long-term goal, because inshallah, the food production itself is something we need to own as a Muslim society. I feel like I don't know that there's many people that actually have a food production chain going. And if you look at Salam Foundation, and we see ourselves as somebody who's got a long-term vision, it's about managing and facilitating food production, because we need nutrition, right, for every single person. And if that is a possibility, then that's what we want to look towards. We want to address the needs of hunger, but we want to address it in a sustainable way. So if we can do that, that will be amazing, because the amount we grow, we sell to different stores, and if they're buying from us, this can give us the impetus to do our work and take it forward.
Do you think you have the economies of scale or the growth potential at the moment to be able to do it on a commercial basis? Because you obviously are competing with commercial farmers if you're trying to sell to supermarkets, and they have large tracts of land, and you have this little enterprise here. Would they not be much cheaper than you in terms of being able to supply to supermarkets?
I think if we start, say, with one product, right? Say, for example, okay, because we do spinach, I could take the example of spinach, right? If we're going to do that on a large scale and we grow it at our farm, we even if we start small and we identify one neighborhood that we say, okay, we're going to sell our spinach at this place on this day for this amount. And it is that we can come in at a price that's, a market, not even market related, but much less than what the stores are selling it, because obviously they are going to the big markets and selling. And I think because we have the background of we want solutions to problems that face society, I think inshallah it's really a model that can grow. Yeah, because I mean, like I'm telling you, from one radish, this is what we have. And maybe you can, like, listeners can also go onto our website and see pictures of what the work we do, or even follow us on Instagram, because then they can see the work that has been put out and where we've come from to where it is today. Alhamdulillah, it's like something that you can actually get some kind of inspiration from, to say that anybody can start this.
Yes. I recently had fortunate opportunity of visiting a place just near the airport.
Right.
And there was this whole big greenhouses, and I was fascinated by what was happening there. I met a chap that's farming cucumbers on a commercial basis, actually growing them there and supplying to people like Woolworths and other supermarkets as well. And
Right.
I think the government has put a fair amount of money into that project. But it's happening. There's a lot growing there, and I went to look at it from a perspective of getting involved in terms of partnering with somebody to grow some stuff there as
Right.
well. And
Right.
there was an opportunity in medicinal cannabis as well. So there was something that somebody had asked me to go and have a look at. But absolutely fascinating. When are you going to come down to Durban and teach us a thing or two about how we could replicate what you're doing out there?
I think that can be something we can look at. That's not a problem. But inshallah, we must liaise, and we must get these gardens growing everywhere, because it's not just about what we do. It's about how much we can teach others also of what we've known. We didn't start off knowing anything about farming or gardening or stuff like that. And in 2 years, we've got a lush, urban farm that people come and want to and we can showcase. So it's not just about like seeing the thing, but it's also making it work in environments. And this is gonna be something sustainable that can impact societies, and that can impact future generations, because they'll have something to fall back on that is actually so uplifting.
Yes, if I may call you Farmer Fatima Sookharia, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you this evening. I've learned a lot, and inshallah, as I said, please, when you are in Durban, please come and share some more thoughts and ideas with us. Maybe we can do a workshop or two and get people involved in doing something like this. I'm sure all of us who live in homes, I'm not talking about apartment blocks, but live in homes, have some space available where we can actually get that space to be more productive than it is at the moment, and really make it happen. And
even in flats and stuff like that, we can do it, because hydroponic systems go up.
Okay.
So vertical farming is also an option.
Okay, you will have to teach us about all these phonics. You've been speaking about a few of them, which I'm not very familiar with. But yeah, I think the pleasure one gets out of seeing something that you've planted with your own hands starting to bear some fruit, so to speak. I don't think one can kind of, just the joy that would give somebody. And especially once that crop grows and you see somebody benefiting from it, I think that would be such a pleasurable moment. Yeah. You've been through it, you've seen it, and I'm sure we could do something similar in KZN to benefit ourselves, but more than benefit ourselves, to benefit those around us as well. So thanks for sharing your thoughts and ideas. Thanks for sharing what you've done there. I would love to speak to you at some stage about the other activities of the Salam Foundation, but yourself and Azhar have done incredibly well. Again, we wish him well on his trip to Turkey, and to help those that have been affected by the earthquake that took place there earlier today in Turkey and Syria. And really, it says a lot in that, literally within hours of this having taken place, you got somebody from your office that's jumped onto a flight and gone there to personally be on the ground. And I think other organizations like Gift of the Givers as well have taken the lead and have put their people in place. And that's what this ummah is all about. We want to help each another, inshallah. So once again, Farmer Fatima, thanks for your input. And inshallah, we hope to speak to you again in the future about other activities of the Salam Foundation, and also to share in the success of Farm in the City and how well it would have grown in a few months' time or in a few years' time. So Jazakallah for that.
Jazakallah so much for the opportunity also. And if you guys ever come to Johannesburg, please, we're at number 92 Xavier Street in Robertsham. So please do visit us.
Inshallah, I would take you up on that offer sometime in the near future. So yes, that's another program of Business Matters from us. I say wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Radio Al Ansar podcasts.